Thank you very much for this report. I know that, am I right in thinking that at page 4, Homes for Lambeth audit has been removed? I mean, given that that's the council's biggest commercial risk, I'm just wondering if that will be reinstated. That's my first question. Page 11, item 4.5, the waiting list exercise. How many people are genuinely on the waiting list? When was the last audit done? How accurate is the waiting list? How is the housing team getting on with this, and when will the work be completed? I think we really have to get a grip on where risk really lies, and clarification on who manages that risk in the council. It doesn't really make it clear who's responsible for it to ensure that risks are being managed. I will give you a specific example of where the clarification is sought, but can I just put everyone on notice that we have a Secretary of State now that has taken local government out of the title. I think the direction of travel on this is that this government wants probably to see the end of local government, and I think it's really important that we emphasize just how good we are at running things and how we're trusted by members of the public. So I think we really do need to get a grip. Specifically, if we look at Appendix C, I think it sets out a contradictory message. Page 1, it states that corporate committee, and I quote, monitors and acts on escalated corporate risks under the direction of the chief executive. Then it seems to embed the idea that if risks are not being managed, then they will be dealt with by overview and scrutiny committee. I mean, I appreciate what you said at the beginning of the meeting, Chair, and I think that I would welcome that clarity on where we ensure that risks are being properly managed. And I understand that you're going to be doing this. What's scrutiny, what's corporate committee, what falls between. So because according to this strategy, I'm still really not clear, and I think I don't know. I think we need to be. I think we need to be absolutely crystal clear where responsibility lies for risk. I noticed the third risk, reputational damage for the organisation relating to ICSA report. I think I'm right in saying it wasn't necessarily there as a risk before, or such a high risk. Yep. Seems to have become more of a risk. Am I right?
You are, yes.
And I'm just wondering. Yes, and I'm just wondering what lessons have been learned, because obviously the ICSA report flagged up the incident of a child placed in Sheffield in 2016, which you know, should be a ringing alarm bells. And then on top of that, in the last report on budget and performance, they highlighted that child protection visits completed in time was only 79%. Now, we should ensure that every single vulnerable child in our care is met in time as planned, for the reasons of what ICSA has brought out. So what are we doing about that? And just to flag what happened at the last council meeting, in the spirit of the redress scheme and the inconsistency in which the scheme is being applied in relation to foster children, and the emails that we had from survivors' lawyers giving examples of how siblings have been treated differently. And, you know, I feel as though the response from the council was inadequate. I realise there's a lot of legal ramifications here. However, the spirit of the scheme is to take care as corporate parents that we look after every single child and that we treat them all equally. I think that it was disingenuous of the council to say that survivors have the litigation process open to them. That is costly, time-consuming, and will put survivors through reliving trauma, which I really do hope that the council is seriously looking at. Yeah, thank you very much for this report. Yeah, it's I welcome a change to our responsible procurement policy, because one of the points that we raised as an opposition was that it's all very well saying that we want to do business with and award contracts to socially responsible firms, but we find that those with questionable ethics we can't exclude from the bidding process. And I'm a bit concerned to hear that wording there, because it sounds as though we will still allow big firms that may have questionable conducts in other areas of their entire operation that we might not agree with. And it would be good to have a golden thread through this council that does not award big contracts to climate change deniers or people who treat refugees badly, in any other that offer no societal, questionable societal issues, and not be locked in to a situation where we have to include them, otherwise they can take us to court. So, I mean, I would love to see far more robust wording in our responsible procurement policy. I find the amount that we spent in 2021 absolutely staggering. 552 million. That does give us a tremendous amount of purchasing power and weight. I mean, I think we'd probably be in the top 350 listed companies with that sort of spending power. And I just think that 21% of those businesses is coming from Lambeth. It would be great to see that going up. It would be great to see us becoming far more in line with our building Lambeth's recovery, new beginnings and all that, for us to go much, much further and be far more ambitious with local suppliers. So that was a point that I wanted to make. I also, I'm still concerned, and I flagged this in 2017 in my budget speech, how we're still holding back on standing orders and we are rolling contracts over. How well equipped are you in the contract management team and the procurement team to be making sure that we're not rolling contracts over? As I said in my speech in 2017, if we had even re-tendered with the same contractor, we would have saved £1 million per year. That's 4 million altogether over the course, and we would have gone back to the same supplier. So, I mean, budgets are really, really tight. We've got a lot of things to do to improve. COVID has really made the situation. It's brought it really, really out how the people most vulnerable in our society, in our borough, are need us to not be leaking money out the door and losing, as a result, losing frontline services for our most vulnerable residents. Please tell us what the corporate committee can do to make sure that this area of contract management and procurement can really help us build a far more resilient and sustainable Lambeth. Thanks.